People believe what we say on television. Just because people don't like you or your personality, they can't get on TV and slander you. It's just total bullshit. These ladies, and I'm a WNBA fan, they cannot have this Caitlin Clark thing up any worse if they try. What is going on here? And the thing I love about her, she never says a word. But these ladies, who I love and respect their game, they couldn't have this thing up.
Picture this. You're at a Colts game, the energy is high, and suddenly everyone stands up. But it's not for a touchdown, it's for Caitlin Clark, the WNBA rookie who's taking the sports world by storm. Want to know how she went from college star to pro sensation? Let's break it down. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. The scene at Lucas Oil Stadium was electric. Fans were decked out in blue and white, ready for some football action. But then, something unexpected happened. The crowd erupted in cheers, and it wasn't for a big play on the field. It was for Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's new superstar. You know what's crazy? This girl's been breaking records left and right since she stepped on the court. She's not just playing basketball, she's rewriting the rule book. But how did this college phenom become the talk of the pros? That's what we're gonna dig into. Get ready for a wild ride through Caitlin's journey from Iowa to Indy, and all the jaw-dropping moments in between.
Caitlin Clark became the first ever rookie in WNBA history to record a triple-double twice in the same season. In that game, Clark scored her 103-point shot this season, becoming just the 6th woman. My WNBA Player of the Week. Surprise, surprise! Indiana Fever rookie sensation, Caitlin Clark. There's nothing really to say other than that. She's winning Rookie of the Year. She's a top candidate for league MVP honors.
All right, let's rewind a bit. Before Caitlin was stealing the show at Colts games, she was just a college kid with big dreams. But man, did she make those dreams happen fast. You know what's wild? The same girl who was playing in college last year is now making seasoned WNBA pros look like they're standing still. Let's talk about Caitlin's time at Iowa. This girl was on fire, averaging 28.9 points, 8.2 assists, and 7.1 rebounds over 4 seasons. That's not just good, that's video game numbers. And she didn't stop there. Caitlin led the Iowa Hawkeyes to back-to-back national championship appearances. Talk about leaving your mark, but here's where it gets juicy. Some people thought Caitlin's college success was just a fluke. They said she couldn't hang with the big girls in the WNBA. Can you believe that? Well, Caitlin had other plans. When draft day came around, nobody was surprised when the Indiana Fever snatched her up as the #1 overall pick. But what happened next? That's what shocked everyone. Caitlin made her WNBA debut on May 14, 2024, against the Connecticut Sun. And let me tell you, she didn't just show up, she showed out. From day one, she was breaking records left and right. It was like watching a rookie play with cheat codes. You want stats? I've got stats that'll make your head spin. In her first season, Caitlin averaged 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. That's not rookie numbers, that's MVP territory. But here's the real kicker. Caitlin didn't just put up big numbers, she changed the whole game for her team. The Indiana Fever had been struggling for years. They hadn't made the playoffs since 2016. That's a long time to be sitting on the sidelines watching other teams battle it out for the championship. Then Caitlin shows up and boom! The Fever are suddenly in the postseason mix again. It's like she brought a whole new energy to the team. Suddenly, everyone's playing better. The fans are going wild, and the Fever are the talk of the league. You know what's crazy? Some people still doubted her. They said, sure, she's good in the regular season, but can she handle the pressure of the playoffs? Well, those doubters got real quiet real fast when Caitlin started cooking in the postseason. You know what's crazy? Those playoff performances were just a warm-up. Caitln was about to show the world what happens when you doubt a generational talent. And let me tell you, it wasn't pretty for her haters. Remember when some people thought Caitlyn's college success was just a fluke? Well, she faced mixed reactions from analysts and former players when she entered the WNBA. Cheryl Swoops, a legend in her own right, was particularly vocal about her doubts. But Caitln? She didn't need words to respond. She let her game do the talking. And boy, did her game speak volumes. Caitln didn't just play well, she rewrote the WNBA record books. She broke multiple records, including assists in a season and rookie three-pointers. It was like watching a video game character come to life on the court. Every game she was doing something that made you go, wait, is that even possible? But here's where it gets really wild. Picture this. Caitlyn's playing against the Chicago Sky. The crowd's buzzing, the game's intense. And what does she do? She drops 31 points and dishes out 12 assists. That's not just good, that's ridiculous. But you know what's even crazier? When she left the game with 3:52 left, the opposing crowd gave her a standing ovation. That's right, the other team's fans were cheering for her. You want to know how good Caitln really is? Even Shannon Sharpe, who's not exactly known for holding back, had to speak up. On his podcast, he straight up called out the critics. He said, "Y'all quiet now."
There's a lot of women that was on ESPN that had a lot to say early about this. They gone quiet now. Y'all had a lot to say early. And if you think I'm talking to you, I am. Make no mistake about it. I'm talking to you. You know who you are. Man, she was coming up the picks, let the threes go.
Yeah.
Enrique come down, let one go.
Yeah.
She said, wow. She said, I'm tired right now. Hey, Kelsey, take that one. Kelsey hit that left hand on him. Wow.
And man, was he right. All those media personalities who had been doubting Caitln, suddenly they couldn't find their voices. But Caitln wasn't just silencing critics. She was racking up awards like they were going out of style. She was unanimously voted WNBA Rookie of the Year. That's not just impressive, that's historic. And if that wasn't enough, she made first team All-WNBA in her rookie season. Do you know how rare that is? It's like Caitln looked at the WNBA and said, "Thanks for the challenge, but I think I'll just dominate instead." Every game, she was doing something that made you wonder if you were watching a rookie or a 10-year veteran. She was threading passes through impossible gaps, hitting threes from what felt like half court, and making defenders look like they were stuck in quicksand. And the fans, they couldn't get enough. Indiana Fever games went from being just another event to must-see TV. People who had never watched a WNBA game in their lives were suddenly tuning in just to see what Caitln would do next. It was like she single-handedly made women's basketball the coolest thing in sports. But you know what's the best part about all this? Caitlyn's just getting started. This is her rookie season we're talking about. Can you imagine what she's going to do next year? Or the year after that? It's like we're watching the beginning of a basketball legend in real time. Now, picture this. A rookie so electric, she's got NFL fans on their feet. Crazy, right? But that's exactly what happened when Caitln showed up at a Colts game. And trust me, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You thought Caitln was just changing things on the court? Oh, you're in for a surprise. This girl's making waves that are rippling through the entire WNBA. Let's talk about ticket sales. The Indiana Fever, they've gone from just another team to the hottest ticket in town. It's like Caitln waved a magic wand and suddenly everyone wants a piece of the action. Imagine this. You're trying to get tickets to a Fever game, but they're selling out faster than hotcakes. That's the Caitlin Clark effect for you. She's not just playing basketball, she's turning the Fever into a must-see event. It's like she's single-handedly changing the game's economy. But here's where it gets really interesting. Caitlyn's not just staying in her lane. She's out there, making her presence felt across Indiana sports. Remember that Colts game I mentioned? Caitln showed up with her teammate Lexi Hull, and the crowd went wild. We're talking about football fans giving a basketball player a standing ovation. That's not just crossing sports lines, that's bulldozing right through them. You know what's even crazier? This isn't just about Caitln being a great player. It's about her becoming part of Indiana's sports culture. She's not just the new kid on the block anymore. She's becoming Indiana's sweetheart. Fans are rallying around her like she's been there for years. Now, let's talk expectations. The Fever haven't exactly been setting the world on fire in recent years. But with Caitlyn on board, people are starting to whisper about playoffs. Not just making the playoffs, mind you, but making a deep run. That's the kind of pressure that could make some rookies crack. But Caitlyn, she thrives on it. Think about it. This girl's gone from college superstar to WNBA sensation in the blink of an eye. And she's not just living up to the hype, she's exceeding it. Every game, every appearance, she's raising the bar. It's like watching a real-life superhero origin story unfold before our eyes. But here's the real kicker. Caitlyn's not just changing the game for herself, or even just for the Fever. She's sparking a revolution in women's basketball. Young girls are watching her and thinking, that could be me. She's inspiring a whole new generation of ballers. And it's not just kids. People who've never watched a WNBA game in their lives are tuning in just to see what Caitlyn does next. She's bringing new fans to the sport, breathing fresh life into the league. It's like she's got this magical ability to make everyone around her better. Her teammates, her opponents, even the fans. You want to know the coolest part? This is just the beginning. Caitlyn's rookie season has been like a tornado, shaking up everything in its path. But tornadoes come and go. Caitlyn? She's here to stay. She's not just changing the game, she's redefining what's possible in women's sports. All right, let's talk about Caitlin Clark's wild ride. This girl went from dominating college ball to lighting up the WNBA faster than you can say buckets. But it's not just about the numbers, folks. Caitlyn's story is all about grit, skill, and shaking up the whole game. You know what's crazy? She's not just playing basketball, she's changing how people see women's sports. Every time she steps on the court, she's showing the world what's possible. And that standing ovation at the Colts game, that's just the beginning. Caitlyn's journey is like watching a superhero origin story in real time. She's inspiring a whole new generation of ballers and bringing in fans who've never watched a WNBA game before. It's like she's got this magic touch, making everyone around her better. And trust me, we're just getting started. Caitlyn Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's rewriting the rules of the game.